Welcome to the show. Today's show is called Under the Influence. And I have a very interesting guest. Now, one thing, before we go on to the show, I want you to make sure you follow us for the next 3 shows, because this is a continuing story. And I would like to introduce my guest. Her name is Deborah, and her company is called Tea by the Vine, a ministry of the divine life. Welcome, Deborah, to the show.
Thank you.
Let's get into this. I want you to explain to me, why is the title of our show Under the Influence? Tell me your story.
Okay. Well, for me, Under the Influence is about having sort of like a spell on you, perhaps, that you may not know is there. For me, it was about my drinking in the beginning, and I did get sober, and I have been sober now for 20 years. And
Well, let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
How did you get involved in the drinking, and how long were you drinking?
Well, I drank pretty heavily and steadily for 10 years during my 20s. And life began to deteriorate for me, and I began to lose hope, and I moved away. I did a geographic, and I ended up in Bend, Oregon, which turned out to be a lovely and beautiful place. In fact, that's where I got sober.
Okay. So go on with your story.
Yes, and so what happened after I'd been sober for a while is that this sort of feeling like I wanted to really be in love again with someone, you know, that I had been in love with prior to my drinking years. And I was at a meeting one day, an anonymous meeting, and he was there. And all of a sudden, I became intoxicated by him. And I mean, I had started a new life in this town, and with a new husband and a career and a life, and yet there was this feeling of uneasiness, like I wanted something else. And so we proceeded to you know, hook up, and I left my whole life, and he was married.
Okay.
And he had been married when I met him, and then he got a divorce, and then he remarried. So this is a span of many years.
But he was still, you were still involved through this whole period?
No, we
Okay.
had parted ways when I moved, and like I said, I had started my new life over again, and something came over me. I can't point the moment in time exactly, but it was a feeling. It turned out to be a very deceptive feeling, but it seemed very real at the time. And I became obsessed with this man, and I had to...
But you were married, and he
Yes.
was married. I see, okay.
It was sort of like unfinished business, if you will. You know, like, yeah, I never really did have that opportunity to be with my soulmate, you know. And when we were together, we could talk about everything, and we just knew that we were meant to be together. Unfortunately, our physical lives didn't reflect that.
Right.
So, you know, delusions of grandeur set in, and all sorts of pie-in-the-sky ideals and fantasies began to take hold. And, you know, I wasn't really walking with the Lord that closely at that time. I was going to church with my husband. So I was being religious, but in my heart, I didn't really have a relationship with Christ. Now, I was saved as a child at 10 years old. I gave my heart to Jesus, and in a nice Baptist church in Paradise, California. And they did a lot of Christian missionary work, and you know, so I had a heart for the Lord, but and a teaching even. I had gone to Bible college after high school, and you know, I had a lot of knowledge, but my heart you know, wasn't right, and so I swayed, and I was able to get caught in a snare.
Sounds like a big one.
Yeah, it really was huge for me. You know, because I moved back to Sacramento, which is where I was born, And I mean, it wasn't my ideal growing up to always be in Sacramento. I sort of really didn't like Sacramento anyway. I never really did. I sort of rebelled against it. And yet later I found out that's where God had placed me and this is where I belong. Mm-hmm. But it took many years, you know, to come to terms with that.
Let's go back a little bit and let's make sure we clarify this story. So my understanding is that you were married and he was married. Now, you were drinking at that time?
No.
No, you weren't. You had cleaned up from the
Yes.
drinking at that point.
Yes.
You met him, you had seen him before.
Yes, I had been heavily involved with him before.
Before?
Yes.
Okay, and then both of you got married and had your own lives.
Yes.
Was he a drinker also?
Yes.
Okay, and so you actually met at an AA meeting? Was that what it was?
Yes, he had gone his way and gotten sober, and I
Okay.
had gone my way and gotten sober. And then later we ran into each other at a meeting.
Right.
And that's when, after the meeting, you know, we talked, and then we realized we still were soulmates and lovers, and we should be together. And that was God's will.
Okay.
And we believed that.
Okay, even though you were both married.
Yes, and
Okay.
and Christians, and
Yeah.
you know.
So he was a Christian
Yes.
too?
Oh yes, he was
Okay.
raised very strict religiously too. So.
And how long did this relationship, so this was in Bend, Oregon, how long did this relationship go on?
Well, after it was rekindled,
Right.
I immediately jumped across the burning bridge and left my life and came down. I should back it up slightly and say I did sort of strategize a little bit because I had a lot going on in my life. And I never did tell my husband why I left because, you know, I didn't want to hurt him and he was faithful. I just told him that I needed to come down here and be with family. You know, my grandmother was sick and she needed me and that sort of thing. And then after I got down here, I figured out how to stay. So it was
Right.
kind of like that, and it was very deceptive.
And he had come down from Bend also?
No, he lived here the entire time.
Oh, he did?
Yes,
Oh, I
he
see.
did. I'm sorry.
So how
Yeah.
did you guys meet at a meeting?
I came
If
down
you-
to visit, just on a vacation to
Oh,
my
okay.
family, and then we met at the meeting
Oh,
here in
I get it.
Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was here. Okay.
Yeah, it was here.
'Cause I was
Yeah.
trying to think, okay,
Yeah.
if you met up there.
Yeah, well, there
But
was
he
a
lived
lot
here.
of running up there and back and forth and all that, that's for sure, on my part. I mean,
Right.
he never changed a thing, and I changed everything.
So you were the one.
In fact, after I got here, I waited for him a year and a half to leave for him to leave his wife.
Right.
And you know, what I'm saying is that this spell, it was like I was under a spell of obsession, you know, and it just was so real, though. I just really believed, you know, that it was God's will.
Well, what's interesting, when you were first telling me the story, the first thing that came to my mind is how amazing how Satan can step in and make something so real to you that you really believe it's God's blessing to do something that very obvious in the Bible is wrong, you know, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So did you ever get to the point where you felt convicted by God that you were doing something wrong, that it was not His will?
Well, during the time of rekindling and moving and waiting and then finally getting my prize, and then being with him
Because how long were
for
you?
3 years.
3
That was a
years.
total of 3 to 4 years there. After about that time, period of time, I met a lady who was in real estate, like me, and in fact, we were swimming in the pool because we love to swim. And she was quite an interesting woman and world traveler, and yet she took an interest in me. And because I haven't traveled that much, although I'd like to, I'm looking forward to traveling.
It's fun.
Yeah, and so we hit it off, and she's a Christian, and she invited me to a women's Bible study. And so I thought, well, I'll go, you know, because I do love to read the Word and fellowship with God's people, but they didn't have to know anything about my private life, you know, I guess is what I was thinking.